but we'll do some tests in just a moment and make sure everyone can see me and hear me before we jump in. Okay. Come on now. Where are we at? Looks like we are live. I can see me. I can hear me because I'm in the same room as me. You're not. You are somewhere else. But say hi. Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're watching from, specifically, if you're from somewhere else. I see Joan. Hello. Good to see you. I will look up at the camera. I'm just making sure I got all my ducks in a row. Ironic, because the app I'm using to stream this live to Instagram is called Yellow Duck. So really got to get that in a row. But as per the usual, we'll take a couple minutes to make sure people are jumping in. Okay. Michael Morton says, hey. We'll deal with that before we jump in because no one wants to hear that. Hopefully I'm coming through clear. I'm in a hotel room, if you can't tell, here in the great OKC, Oklahoma City, which is basically the great state of Texas. We've given it back to the United States because Oklahoma's not. Sorry, there's jokes there that I'm not even going to make. It's been too long since I've lived in Texas, so I can't even make jokes like that anymore. I'm not allowed. Kimberly Kennedy, morning. Where are you at that it's morning? It's 11 a.m. my time here in Central Time. So technically it's morning, but it's. I mean, I've been up forever, so it feels like it's afternoon now. Jeff says hello from Alaska. Where are you at in Alaska, by the way? I don't think I ever asked you that. And hello, welcome from Alaska. My Alaska buddies tell me it's starting to get a little warmer up there now. That's good. Starting to feel the springtime. Yep and yep. Robin says hello. Good. So she might help me out with some questions here, since it's doing the same thing where I can only see 4 at a time. But I'm gonna leave it popped open. So as we kind of dive into some stuff here, I'll be able to see stuff that you post. And if I miss something, don't worry. We'll get it on the flip side, as we say. Thomas says hello from sunny LA. I appreciate that, man. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for being here. Chugach. Is that did I pronounce, is it? No, that's Chugiak. That's different. Is that different? I know Chugach. I know where that is, but I don't know where Chugiak is up in Alaska. It's Alaska. It's a pretty big place. A lot of places I've probably never heard of up there. Danica says morning. Morning. Hello to you. We're getting some good eyeballs on this now. We're gonna go jump in here pretty quick. So Jeff says that's right. Chugiak. Okay, cool. Different place. Yep, and another live video every week coming at you live, no matter where I am in the world. I'm down here in Oklahoma City. I'm at a conference called, we're going to have to talk about branding. I'm going to have to, it's called, what is it? Oklahoma Writers Federation Incorporated Conference. Guys, just call it like OK Writers. I don't know. Anyway, but we'll talk about it. But you're not here for branding. You're here for productivity. As I like to say, guys, this is my productivity. This is my secret. This is my hack. This is my way of doing things. I'm not coming at you with any, expertise to say you should do it this way. I'm just coming at you to say this is how I do it. And yes, I've gotten some stuff done, and I've got some success, and so I might be able to help you with some things. And that it's just perspective is all, right? That's all we're talking about. It's just my perspective to you. You can take it, you can leave it, you can listen to it, you can ignore it. But I've put some thought behind this. I've practiced a lot of this stuff. I wouldn't be talking to you about a specific topic. Oops, sorry. If I didn't have something to say that I've either researched or dived into myself and experienced and learned the hard way, or all of the above. And productivity is absolutely one of those things because, well, to do anything we have to be productive. To produce, we have to be productive, right? And so it's built into the word. And I've definitely produced. But I've also had long stretches where I haven't produced, or at least I haven't produced enough or up to par or whatever, up to snuff, whatever definition we want to use. I feel like I haven't done that. And I always wanted to know why. I always wanted to dive into why. Why wasn't I productive? Why wasn't I feeling productive? Why wasn't I feeling motivated? Why can't I seem to get this project past the finish line? Why can't I seem to enjoy this project I'm supposed to be working on? Whatever my boss gave me to do, I don't want to, I don't buy in, right? And so I've thought about this for years, right? My struggle with productivity probably began before I realized it was a struggle with productivity. Meaning I've always been a high achiever. I've always been somebody who wants to get things done. I've always been driven. I've always liked the feeling of accomplishment, right? We all feel this. This isn't anything abnormal, anything crazy. But for me, I could never really tell why I would finish certain things and not other things. Does that make sense? I'm gonna brag a little bit about myself, but it's not to brag. It's just to prove to you that I'm here talking to you with some experience in this. I wrote a symphony when I was 17. I was in high school. I was studying composition at UTSA here down in San Antonio, and I wrote and finished and had performed an entire symphony. So full orchestra. It was my dream project. It was something that I wanted to get done, and I did it. And so I carried that with me through college, thinking, well, I know I can achieve things. That's a big deal, right? No, who writes symphonies, right? Only nerds. But I couldn't apply the same level of productivity to things that I didn't care about, right? So I would work on a project for biology class or whatever the thing was that I didn't care about, and I just wouldn't do it. It wouldn't get done. I was the guy in the group projects. All the group hated me because I was just like, oh, I'm just going to show up in my pajamas and you guys will do all the work for me. We'll turn it in and I'll get an A. That isn't productive. That wasn't productive, and I could never figure out what the difference was. I used to think that it was about caring. I used to think it was I have to care about the project. I have to really, really buy in to the project. That may be true, but sorry, I'm reading comments and stuff at the same time. Yeah, Gentry, I'm that guy. Look, I've discovered the secret, if you will, right? You're all here. You want to know the secret? I've been posting about this all week. I've been, kind of leading up to it and giving you. I'm going to give you the secret of productivity. It's not going to be what you've heard before. Well, it may be what you've heard before, but it's not the usual repackaged productivity advice. Let's get a to-do list. Let's get a task manager. Let's put it on the calendar. If it's not on your calendar, it's not getting done. Robin's mad at me now because we literally had a call. She's very, very good at this stuff, and she's actually coaching me through some of this because I want to unpack all this stuff. But it's not the app, the program, the calendar, the checklist, the to-list. It's not deep work like Cal Newport would have us believe. It's not time blocking. All of those things are not it. The reason you're not productive or as productive as you'd like to be. Okay, and I'm talking to myself here, right? The reason I wasn't as productive as I thought wasn't some tool that I was missing. Okay, just like in book marketing, we always want it to be another ad platform. Well, the reason my books aren't selling is because I haven't figured out X. I haven't figured out Facebook ads or Amazon, and I know that's the secret. Maybe the book just sucks, right? Maybe you're just not that good of a writer. Anyway, but that's not what we're talking about. Productivity is the same way, right? We always think maybe if I use OmniPlan or OmniOutliner or Things or read Stephen Covey over again or Getting Things Done, right? Dave Allen. That's not it, okay? Again, another little story time. I'm pretty good at a lot of things, right? I'm not good at everything. I'm not really great at anything, but I'm good at a lot of things. And the problem is I'm interested in nearly everything. And so I would do these things like, hobbies or what have you. Why are you bouncing? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm like a bird. This is why I'm not productive, because I see things on my computer and it just, starts to go crazy. I'm good at a lot of things, and I'm interested in everything, and that's a problem for people who like to be productive because everything becomes a project, right? Everything becomes something we can achieve, something we can accomplish, something we can build, a symphony we can write. Whether or not that helps us in life, or in our career, I should say, because usually I think hobbies help us in life. It keeps us engaged and entertained and all that. But when we're talking about productivity, the challenge is not how to care about certain things, because we all care about the things that are important. That's not really the issue, okay? The issue that I've found for me, again, this is all, I'm talking about me and my experience here. The issue that I found, and the secret, if you will, the big hack that I'm going to dump on you guys today is energy management. is the secret to productivity, okay? You have to manage your energy. You have to manage your energy. You have to be able to deal with how your energy is generated, right? How you go through the day and remain energized or re-energize yourself to stay productive. And only then will those tools that you choose, the apps, the systems, the processes, the calendars, the desk stuff that you write on, whatever it is, all of that stuff will work only if you are very, very good at managing your energy. And the reason this is a hack, the reason this is a secret, obviously it's not, right? There are no secrets. There's no silver bullet. But the reason I'm bringing it up and talking about it now, and it's so important to me and forefront in my mind, is because we often forget about this. We often just blow past this and talk about productivity. We always blow past energy management as if it's this thing we all just do. And well, whatever energy we have when we wake up in the morning is what we got, right? And yep, that sucks if you don't have any, but you got to be productive, so you better just jump in, have that discipline, rise and grind, right? That's just not true, guys. It's just not true. So if you're thinking, oh, but I don't sleep well and I'm tired and yeah, I know, me too. Everybody's the same way, right? But if you can learn how to manage that energy better, I don't you have to be perfect at it, but if you can get better at energy management, everything else will fall into place for productivity. Everything else. You already know the tools to use, right? You already know how to write. Yeah, Robin says sometimes making the plan is enough, right? You already know how to do that. So I'm not going to give you any secret tricks on, well, if you use the 12-week year and it's really 13 weeks and you know that, or you can go find that. That's not information that is I'm holding back and I'm going to reveal to you as if you don't know it already. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by thinking that you don't know the productivity tools, systems, hacks, tips, tricks, whatever. This is about energy management, because energy management is really where productivity starts and ends. Okay, so like all things that I teach, I have a framework. Okay, I've got a way to do this that, again, you can adopt it, you can change it, you can do your own, you can throw mine out the window and say, it doesn't work for me. But I want you to hear this because I want to challenge you with thinking of your energy in a way that you can affect. Specifically, you can affect change in that energy, okay? If you don't have enough of it in a certain aspect, we'll talk about the 4 aspects of it. If you don't have enough of it in a certain area, you can get more. You can manifest more. You can create more. You can generate more. Whatever word, is it a verb? Whatever verb you want to use, you can do that for energy, okay? And what I want you to hear, what I want you to take away is that wherever you are right now, you can get better, okay? So if you're here because you think, well, you know what, I'm really, really productive, and I'm just hoping that Nick can remind me of how productive I am so I can go be awesome and own the day. Great, welcome. Glad you're here. You can be better. You can be even more productive, okay? If you're here because you're thinking, man, I just can't seem to get it together. I got this book and this project, and I just don't care about it. I'm missing deadlines. I got 8 kids and 9 spouses. That's weird if you had 9 spouses. Whatever. I'm not going to judge. You got all this kind of stuff going on in your life. I just can't seem to be productive. You can also get better, okay? And I'm not going to tell you that you can be perfect after this one call, an hour, live stream. You're not going to be perfect, but you can start practicing these things. There's a framework that you can use. It's the same one I use every single day. It's new to me. And, it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time, but I couldn't really pinpoint why productivity was working, or when it was working, why it was, until very recently. And so I've just started to try to hack this into a framework, a system that I can use and I can replicate every day. So what that means is it's new to me. I'm excited about it. It's working really well. But it's also something that is going to morph and change, and I want you to do that as well. So I'll give you mine. I'll show you my framework, how I think about this stuff, how I generate my own energy, different points throughout the day. I'll give you some tricks for that. And then I want you to just know that wherever you are, you can improve, you can get better, and you should, right? Like my little not-so-secret slogan for Book Career in a Year is, the world needs your book. We need more books. We need more entertainment. We need better entertainment. We need good stories and your voice and the tone that you have with it. We need that. It's not competitive. It's not, your book isn't going to compete with mine. I want to read all the books. You're here because you like to read all the books. So You can't do that unless you're productive, and you can't be productive unless you generate energy, okay, unless you manage and maintain that energy. Okay, so enough with all that. Here's my framework. First of all, and this isn't going to be a surprise to anybody, but you have to wake up well, period. End of story. You have to wake up well. So you're all here because you're awake. You've managed to wake up. Congratulations. Hardest part of the day is done. You're here. You can wake up. So you know what's to learn. Well, again, you can get better. You can improve. So wherever you are right now, however you feel right now, tomorrow, challenge yourself to wake up even better. Okay? What do I mean by that? You might be asking. Well, we've all heard this, right? Like we need to work on the most important task when we first wake up. We need to jump in and use that we have the most motivation or pool of energy right when we wake up, and so we need to jump into the first most important task that we have to accomplish. That's false. Okay, I just don't believe that at all. I don't think that's true. It's not bad advice that you should work on stuff when you have the most energy for the thing that you're supposed to be working on, but it's just oversimplified advice, right? Instead, I like to work on myself first thing in the morning because I don't wake up well or as well as I could if I'm not thinking about myself, because I'm super selfish. I believe you're probably pretty selfish as well, at least first thing in the morning. You need to make sure that you wake up well, and that starts with thinking about yourself. To get very practical here, here's what I like to do. Oh, sorry, I need to back up because I told you there was four, or I didn't tell you there were four, but there are different areas of energy that we can be managing and maintaining, okay? And those four are really, really important because they all go together, and if one of these four is lacking, it seems like all of our productivity goes away, right? So our energy, the way I'm defining it, comes in four main areas, and those four areas are emotional energy, physical energy, that's the one that we think about the most. I feel like going for a jog, or I have enough energy to go for a jog. Spiritual energy, and I'm not necessarily saying religious or anything like that, but it could be. And then mental energy. These are the four areas where I have to make sure, if I'm on my game, these four areas are on point. These four areas of energy are firing on all cylinders, if you will. They're generating energy for me in all four of these ways, okay? So everything I talk about after, just think back to these four: emotional, physical, spiritual, and mental, okay? Not in any particular order, those are the four big ones, okay? So waking up well involves making sure that I'm taking care of those four areas. For me, this is at least 20 minutes in the morning. That's all it is, though. It could be an hour. Usually it takes an hour because I walk. I'm fat and old, and so I don't go for jogs, but I walk, and that takes a long time because I'm trying to burn a certain amount of calories, and I've built in the time to be able to do that, but that takes an hour. But maybe it's 20 minutes. I don't think it's less than that. It's usually going to be 20 minutes at least of working on these four areas. And so an example is for the mental energy, to wake up well, I like to start by reading 20 or 30 minutes. I might just lay in bed, and I know I'm not supposed to grab my phone first thing in the morning, but I like to read. And so if I can read on my phone without even getting out of bed, this is a great way for me to balance and generate some of that mental energy first thing. I also write in a journal every morning, and this has been a really hard one for me because I don't like to write in a journal, but I've seen the effects over, it's been probably 6 years now of mostly daily journal entries. And it's got a profound effect on my life, just holistically, okay? That's it. That's my science. I'm not going to say that you should do it too, but it works for me. I highly recommend trying that if you don't have a journal practice. Do something. I use an app called Day One on the Mac because it's nice and pretty, and that's pretty much all it takes to get me on board. But anyway, so mental health or mental energy is generated for me for reading, by reading or writing in a journal or both. For emotional energy, it's very simple: being with people we love. So if you live alone, you can go text a friend in the morning. You can go jump on Facebook, join the group. You love all of us here. We're all here for you, right? And I'm not making light of this, but we often don't fill up our emotional energy reservoir, and we don't realize that it's been empty for a little while, right? This is going to be a hard truth for some of you guys. I get that. But you know who it is that can help fill that. And you need to make sure that you're doing daily touch points. It's not the same person every day necessarily, but daily you need to be filling your emotional reservoir, okay? I use the example of people we love because that's the quickest way emotionally that I can replace my energy. But it doesn't have to be that. If you love a Netflix show and it just really puts you in a good state of mind, that can be a useful tool to build that emotional energy. So think about what it is for you. Anyway, you'll be building that emotional energy as well. For spiritual, this is also pretty obvious. You know what it's going to be for you. I, in the past, have struggled really, really bad with anxiety. And for me, a way to kind of attack that and use that energy for good, as instead of a force of evil that was clawing away at my brain, was meditation, right? I'm also a believer, and prayer was a way that helped me as well. You can do whatever you want, but you have to fill that spiritual reservoir in the morning as well. Waking up well requires thinking about all four of these areas of energy, okay? And then finally, taking a walk, I mentioned, that's the physical side. There's the productivity advice. People, wake up and you got to, do 20 jumping jacks because you get your heart rate going, or, it has to be a 20-ounce glass of water because that's going to really get your immune system up to speed and your vascular system and health all going, and it's going to jumpstart your heart. And none of that's wrong. But what they're really getting at, this is what took me so long to identify, was that they're talking about waking up well and setting the standard for the rest of the day in these four areas: emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, okay? So that is how you do the morning well. You just have to think through those four. And like I said, it's going to take probably 20 to 30 minutes minimum. But you need to build that time in. If you're not doing that, if you're just waking up, rolling out of bed, throwing the shoes on, hope you put pants on, go to work, you're not waking up as well as you could. And I want to challenge you, starting tomorrow, or maybe you go take a nap right after this. And when you wake up from that nap, you're going to wake up well. Whatever it is, the next time you fall asleep, wake up well. Promise yourself. Give yourself that gift of waking up well by managing your energy and setting the standard for the rest of the day, because it is so profound. It is so powerful to do that. Ask me how I know. Okay, so the second part, and there's three parts here. So the second part of generating the energy and maintaining that energy is really, really important. And we often forget about this. We just sort of do the thing that's on our calendar. Even if we're the one that put it there, we just do it without really thinking about the necessity of that thing. So the second tip I have, and it's more than a tip. I mean, it's like a mandate, if you will. The second mandate I'm going to give you is to build necessity. Necessity, that's a weird word. It's just a reminder of why. That's what I mean when I say necessity. This is a reminder of why we do the things that we do. And I don't mean holistically. I mean, that's helpful, right? Like, why am I an author? Why do I exist? That's great. That's cool. But I'm talking about the practical, nitty-gritty, every single thing on your calendar, every single task you're about to chunk off and do. You got to ask yourself why it's there. Okay? And you got to know why it's there. And only by asking those questions will you truly know the necessity of that thing. Okay? And you can finish the sentence for me. You know where I'm going. Like, if the necessity isn't there, why are you doing the thing? Right? Usually, though, as authors, as people who are self-employed, or even just us who hustle, we get to put this stuff on our calendar and decide what we're doing on our own. No one tells us what to do. No one comes and says, hey, I need you to finish this. Great, that's going to give you your salary, boom, done. So the necessity, we feel like, is already baked in because we're the ones that decided this was necessary to do. However, it's not a good way to manage your energy, right, and thus be productive if you haven't identified the true, real why in that moment before you do the thing. So finishing the next book is necessary. If I want to release a book, I got to write the dang book, right? So that's necessary. But it doesn't help me to just know that at some point, an arbitrary date in the future, I need to have written a book in order for me to have written a book. It's important for me to know if I'm about to sit down and write, or I usually dictate. So if I'm going to go out and drive or hike or whatever and dictate, that I know why. Not just that I'm doing that thing, but why I'm doing it now. What this does is it sort of hacks our self-reliance cycle. I don't really think that's the best term for that, but you know what I'm talking about. It sort of hacks our brain into thinking, why am I doing these things when I do them? Is this habitual? Is there a better habit that we can be putting in place here? Do I really want to be using this feeling that I have, this emotional state that I've got right now, to do this thing, this task? Or would it be better to wait until I got to drive across town to pick the kids up or something, and I can dictate then? Let me do another task at this point. So we start to think through that kind of stuff more because we're being very purposeful about it. And what happens is that this generates really good energy for us during the day. And I'm not talking about woo-woo energy that we get from crystals. Sorry, people, that's not scientific. But I'm talking about real energy, like actual mental, like here's how we do the thing that we need to do. You know that when you write at certain times, the writing just doesn't work as well. It's not as good, right? It's harder. It's weirder. You had to delete it all and start over. Those are moments when your energy for that particular task doesn't match that task. The necessity isn't there. Does that make sense? Where I'm going with this? So if you start to short circuit that by like literally asking yourself, why am I doing this right now? I know I need to write the book. That's not what we're talking about. But why right now do I think I need to write this book? Is it because I've decided that between 11 and 12, I've got my best energy going for me, and that's when I should be writing this book? If so, great. You've built necessity, and you should do that. But a lot of times we come up to a task, and if we do this well, we're building necessity, and we realize that 11 to 12 really is actually when we should be eating lunch, or calling our mom on the phone, or whatever the thing is, that true feeling that we've got in that moment, the energy that we've got right there, is best spent on something different. Okay, so that's all this is. It's just building necessity. Purpose might be another word you could use for that, but it's really just asking yourself why. Why is this particular task necessary in this particular moment? And you can get really, really good at this, and pretty soon you start shifting things around on your calendar and organizing your to-dos and your checklist for those times. And so you can start time blocking, knowing that not only is this, this feels like a good time to be doing my important work, but I also know, because I've got data now. I know myself, and I know that this is when I should be doing this type of thing, because I know. But even then, I'm still going to ask every single time, why is this necessary right now? Okay, it's super important. I'm kind of belaboring that point. You get it. Lastly, this is really, really cool. This is something I picked up from a guy named Brendon Burchard. I love his teaching. He's a great coach. He's a good mentor, role model. And he's just a really smart guy. And he's come up with this, I think he came up with it, but the idea of tension-intention cycles. This is a great hack. This is an awesome, awesome way to maintain energy or generate that energy at points throughout the day. Okay, so just like the wake up well, you need 20 minutes at least, tension-intention cycles feels like it's cutting away from time doing your tasks because you're literally task switching and taking a pause before each one. But trust me, this is super powerful. If you put it into play right now, you're going to thank me, okay? And you're going to thank Brendon Burchard because he came up with it. I love these. Okay, so here's how it works. This is a brief meditation. Again, if you don't like that word for whatever reason, it's just a brief break, a pause, but it involves some very specific out loud, usually. I prefer out loud. You don't have, if you're in a cubicle at work or whatever, you're going to look like a weirdo, so maybe don't do it out loud. But if you can, try to do this out loud because this is a really, really cool way of, again, like just short-circuiting everything going on in your big old brain, that your brain box just wants you to do something different. And this is just a great way of forcing it to focus on a certain thing. Okay, here's how it works. So a tension-intention cycle is basically so before every task, before you jump into every single thing that you do, especially when you're task switching. So if you're going from writing to filing the PCS report, this is a perfect thing to do. You're checking email and you want to jump into writing, whatever the task switching is. Or if you're just writing and you want to take a break and then write again, this is a great thing to do. I recommend building it into every single block in your calendar before you start. But here's how it works. Take 2 minutes. Start with 2 minutes. If you're going to be a master and you're going to be an overachiever like me, do 3 minutes. But 2 minutes. This is a long time, by the way. You'll see why in a second. But take 2 whole minutes. Set an actual timer on your desk. Close your eyes and just say, release. Take a breath and say out loud, release. Release. Nice and slow. Take long pauses, deep breaths. It doesn't have, you're not hyperventilating here, folks. You're not, but just take a break and say the word release. While you're saying that word release, the first minute, you are thinking of the tension that may have built up in the previous task, the previous thing that you were doing. You're answering emails, you get mad, as per my previous request. You release that tension before going into the next task. And by doing it out loud, by closing your eyes, you're changing your physical state so that your mental and emotional and spiritual state can follow along, right? So there's the 4 energies. That's how we do this. You close your eyes, say release for 1 whole minute, then keep doing it. But the second minute of the 2 minutes, while you're saying release, you are thinking of setting intention for the next task. So the first minute, you're releasing the tension of the previous one. And then the second minute, you are setting intention. You're being intentional. Before you even do the thing, you're being intentional about that thing. This is so profoundly powerful. Trust me, it works. I do it all the time. Before I got on this call, I sat here and I released the tension of working out this morning, waking up, staying out too late with my buddy last night. All of those things was creating literal physical tension, you know, shoulders, back, all that stuff, right? And so I just did this quick meditation to release that. And it's not perfect, right? I still feel tight. I worked out. I lifted more weight than I probably should. It was like 7 whole pounds, you know, but you know, so it's not, but the point is, this is so cool. It's just cool. It's so powerful to actually like release whatever crap we got carrying before, even if it's good tension. Even, I mean, not really tension. I don't think tension is good, but even if we don't think we're building tension because the task that we did was good. Hey, I did that. I turned that into the boss. I checked it off the list. That's great. Release that because you're done. Go to the next thing and build and set intention in the next thing before you even do the thing. And guess what? The thing that you're about to do is going to feel easier. You're going to build less tension doing that thing because you set the intention before. You picking up what I'm putting down? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Ann Lown has a emoji on there. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm assuming it's just really bad and she hates everything I've said. We'll find out. Oh yeah, that's a good question. So, you know, again, these are my way of doing things. I say release the whole 2 minutes, just release. But you know, you might do something like just say release the first minute and say intention or set intention for the second minute. I don't think the word is nearly as important as the physical act of saying the word out loud. Does that make sense? I hope that's helpful. I hope that serves you, Jess. Definitely say release because it's a good word. It just reminds, or literally by physically saying it, reminds your mental state to do the thing that you're saying to do. So it goes without saying that maybe you should say build intention for the second minute. But the point is 2 minutes, slow, deep, steady breaths. You know, don't hyperventilate, don't pass out on your desk, and just breathe. Take some deep breaths. Be focused about that, and then say the word release. Say the word intention. Set intention, build intention. Maybe you want to say the word necessity, you know, but the idea is you're physically hacking your mental state here. You're physically forcing your brain to focus on the thing that you want your brain to be doing. Here's the way this works, and I'm not a scientist. I'm certainly not a brain doctor or anything like that. But I had a conversation in the airport with a friend of mine yesterday, and I believe this to be true. That you know we're all so smart that we like try to outsmart ourselves. You know, I was talking specifically with this person about anxiety and that they were dealing with, and I have dealt with in the past, and it's so true that like I can teach you about anxiety. Like I know all the things about anxiety. I'm like a master at anxiety. I'm the most anxious person ever. I know exactly what anxiety is like, and I know all the tools to fix it. So let me just blah, 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 blah. Here, you know, think of it like a cloud going through the sky, and your brain is the sky, and it's going to pass. I know all those things, and I can teach you all those things. What happens then? Well, when I'm feeling anxious, I don't do any of the things, right? I know all the things. I can teach you the things, but I'm like trying to outsmart myself. My brain's going, well, yeah, but we already know the things, and I'm feeling anxious anyway, which means none of the things work. I'm too smart for this. This is dumb. I'm not going to do any of the things. I'm just going to sit here and be anxious all the time. That's pretty stupid, isn't it? But I'm stupid, okay? And unfortunately, you're stupid in the same way. You're really, really smart, and what you will try to do is outsmart yourself. You will think, I know Nick talked about energy, and I know there's these 4 ways of building energy, and I know that I'm supposed to wake up well, and I know, and I know, and I know, and I know. And then you won't do those things because you know better. You try to outsmart yourself. You see what I'm saying here? And so by doing these little cycles, by forcing yourself to build necessity, waking up well, of course, and this physical act of taking a brief 2-minute meditation before you jump into the next thing, forces your brain to just go away for a minute. Just physically says, hey, body, I'm in charge right now. I'm just going to say this thing. And what that does, it just like short circuits your mind. And all of a sudden your brain's like, hey, that was really cool. I'm glad you did that. Thanks, man. Or woman, whatever. And that's, again, I'm not a scientist. I don't know why that works, but I think that's true. I think most people would probably agree with that. But if not, try it anyway and see what you think. Robin has a good recommendation. Try the word joy for the second minute, right? Joy. Just have joy. I love that word. It's such a great state to be in if you can capture that throughout the day. And like energy, I believe you build it, okay? I believe our emotional state is set not by just a trigger, like a feeling, but by a choice. The triggers still happen, okay? The trigger is still going to, somebody's going to piss you off, cut you off on the road, whatever it is. How we react is a choice. How we respond is a choice. And how our emotional state is a choice. Okay, and that's pretty powerful to take away. If you're an Enneagram person, I'm an 8, which just basically all the books say like, oh, 8, you're just mad all the time. Man, yeah, that's true. And so I have to choose to not be that way. All the things still make me mad, but I have to just choose. This isn't going to piss me off. Not this time. Anger, right? I'm getting off topic here, but the point is, all of these are examples of how I build energy. All of these things are examples of how I believe you can benefit from energy production throughout the day, whether it's waking up first thing or taking a break in the middle of the day and building some intention or necessity in your job, and then every single little cycle of productivity we've got throughout the day. Okay, I recommend trying this out because once you've developed your own framework or used mine, and you've gotten good at it, you will be more productive. Because you already know all the things. This is another example of outsmarting yourself. You already know all the things to do, right? I know how to, I'm really good at organization, I'm really good at admin, I'm really good at planning, I'm really good. But I'm just not getting the right stuff done. Why is that? Well, you're not building energy the right way. That's it. I truly believe that. That's it. Because you already know the stuff. I'm not going to teach you, here's getting things done 2.0, Nick version. That's helpful, maybe. I could teach you that, but that's not what you need, I believe. What you need is energy management, specifically. So those are the 3 ways. Let me say this, too, because this was in my notes, and I just want to say it. My therapist, actually, was really, really good, a good guy, said this to me, and I don't think he came up with the idea either, but what we feel is always based on what we think. Okay, I knew that. That was something. I was sitting on the couch and looking up at this, and he said that, and I'm like, yeah, duh, man, that's okay. What we feel is based on what we think. That's the whole trigger leads to the emotion, right? I know that. And then he said this. He goes, but what we think is based on what we believe. Okay? That hit me. That was like, oh, I never went there. I never got even farther into it. But this is where in therapy, like we talk about like past trauma, like childhood experiences, all that stuff. That's where this comes from because something there has set a belief. It doesn't have to be a trauma, but something has happened that causes you to believe something, and it's so far removed from how we feel that we don't know it's based on a belief, right? Energy management is the same way. I believe that I don't sleep well. So guess what? I feel tired all the time, right? I believe that I need to drink energy drinks 24/7, or I won't have energy, right? Or whatever the thing is. I believe that I need to work out, so I feel like working out. So what we're doing is we just are recognizing the steps that it took to get to the way we feel. Energy management comes down to that. So if you believe that you can affect your own change in energy management world, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, if you believe that you can affect those changes, then you will feel more energetic. You'll get more done. I hope that serves you. I'm going to answer some questions here, right? If there are any, I do have a lunch right after this, so I'm going to cut off right at the top of the hour if we go long. But don't worry, all of this is, knock on wood, hopefully being recorded on my end, and of course the live stream will live on Facebook forever and ever and ever. Amen. And I will jump back in throughout the day. If you do have a question, something I didn't hit, or something that you just want to share, please, by all means, jump into the group. If you're watching me over on Instagram or YouTube, that's not cool. Come over to the group where it's cool. We're cool over here, and this is where we want you. But no, I'm just kidding. Keep watching it over there. But most of this stuff is going to live. I'm going to call it home. My home base is going to be the Facebook group that you are probably watching this in right now. Which are on my Facebook page. Definitely like and follow me because I like those, and I definitely get my social juju from that. But then come over to the group because that's where we're all at. That's where we're hanging out. But the point is, I'm going to jump into the group throughout the day, make sure that I get some questions answered. Again, I can only see 4 at a time, so if you got something that you want to kind of re-up, just post it again. Literally copy paste if you need to, and I will go through and just answer some of that stuff when we have a few minutes. But anyway, yeah, I hope that serves you guys. I've been thinking about this for a long time. I have been a very productive person, and I've been a very unproductive person in the past, and I never really understood why until very recently. I mean, I'm talking, months ago. Like it wasn't, I haven't been doing this for years and years and years. I've been doing it for months. So ask me, 10 years from now, I might be like, yeah, energy sucks. I hate energy. It didn't work. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to get better and better and better at acknowledging and recognizing, right? That's the belief part of that think, do, feel cycle, whatever you want to call it, that somebody mentioned. But acknowledging it and then of course manufacturing it, affecting change throughout my day to day, right? And that is going to lead to productivity. It already has. That's why I'm here talking about it, because I'm like, hey, this works. This is good. It's not. I didn't need to. Let me just get a desk calendar, and that's going to be the secret. No. You guys already know that. What you might be missing if you're like me and you've been like, yeah, I've been really productive and I've been unproductive and I couldn't really figure out why. I believe it was probably the energy. Marion said, I'm neglecting 3 of the 4 and not getting done what I want to get done. Yeah, I feel that, right? That's why I gave you 4, because I'm like, hey, it's not just about physical energy. I can say, go work out. That's great. I think everybody should do that. I think whatever you're capable of doing, you should push yourself and do that, right? Every single day you should do that. But that's not it. That's just one. How is your mental energy game? How is your emotional energy game? Guys, how is your spiritual energy game? Men especially, because I talk to a lot of dudes, and this is not the one that we like the most. Our physical energy game is on point, right? Well, I'm going to go lift all the weights. Let's go play hockey, like whatever it is. Great, that's cool. You're doing your thing, man. But hey, your spiritual energy and sometimes your emotional energy, these are the ones that men especially, you're going to be watching out for, because if you're not building that stuff, if you're not focusing on that and practicing how to build that, you're not going to get any better at it. And if you don't get any better at it, not going to be as productive. Right? Helpful? Okay. Thanks, Joan. Yeah, the wake up well, that's really the new one for me. I'm not a morning person, right? And so that's why I put it in here, because it's a practice that I really, really, really am trying to nail personally. And I've gotten really good at it, but I can always get better. I've always been a night owl. That changed when we had kids, because I like sleep now. I like sleep too much. I always tell people I think I need 16 hours of sleep to feel rested, because I've had 15 hours of sleep one time, and it was like almost good enough. So I think 16 is the magic number. So, but I'll never get there. So I always feel a little bit more tired. But man, it doesn't matter how I feel in the morning. If I can figure out how to like wake up well by manufacturing some of that energy first thing, it really does set the standard. Like last night, example. I mean, I'm pointing at my hotel room here, but like I came in past midnight. I had been drinking, with a friend downtown Oklahoma City, just hanging out, just having a good time. Right? It's not bad. I wasn't overdoing it. I wasn't drunk. It was just, it was late, and then I knew I had to wake up and do this, and I knew I had calls, meetings, things like that in the morning, get the conference started, and I also knew that I needed to do all those things well. I needed to be on my game, and so it didn't matter how late I was up. It didn't matter what I was doing with that time. I needed to wake up well. And for me, the physical part is just getting out of bed, putting the shoes on, putting the shorts on, going down to a treadmill. I was going to try to go outside, but it was like pouring down rain because Oklahoma sucks. It doesn't rain anywhere else. And so I walked back in and got the treadmill, and I just walked. Just watched Netflix and just walked. And that was enough to jumpstart the physical side, right? While I'm doing that, after the show ended, I did some journal, some mental health kind of stuff, building that energy. But I'm trying to go through all 4 of those things first thing in the morning, and it works so well. It's so helpful to do that, right? Yeah, Marion says emotional energy drinking with a friend. Hey, totally, man. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that we should do that every single night, but look, I'm not an alcoholic, and I would never condone being an alcoholic. I'm not saying that, but yeah, that kind of, it's the social lubricant, right? That's why we joke about it. Let's say, so Adam says something to learn from my wife is to pay attention to human design, most creative in the evening. So not writing then just doesn't make sense. Likewise, trying to write first thing in the morning is often like pulling teeth. Hey, that's exactly how I am. I've had to change my schedule, like I said, because I want to be with my wife, and the best time to do that is in the evening after the kids go to bed. So my best creative time used to be in the evening, but I've had to train myself. Everything's trainable, to use whatever creative juices I've got at other times in the day. But again, I'm not very good in the morning, so I don't want to do that. I'll answer emails, I'll do these kind of things, because I'm good at this and I can do this in the morning. But I don't want to write at that time. Does that make sense? So yeah, right. I'm right with you, man. Everybody's different. I like that you said human design. We're all different. You just got to figure out where this all fits in for you. Build that necessity wherever it is. Is this the right place for it? Why is this the right place for it? How do we do this better? David, just joining us probably. Please quickly list the 4 points again. The four are the four energies, I like to call them, right? These are just physical energy, mental energy, spiritual energy, and emotional energy. And we need to be really good at building energy in all four of those ways. And that looks a little different for each one, for every person. But I gave a framework of 3 ways to do that. And the first way was wake up well. The second way was to build necessity, literally the purpose of why you're doing a specific thing. And then I gave you a little hack. It's called the tension-intention cycle, where you release tension and build intention for the next thing. So that's kind of the nutshell sort of deal, right? Jeff says it's like filling up gas tanks. Yeah, man, it's exactly what it is. You get empty on the tank, you got to fill it up. And the problem is, and I'm speaking to men because I've never been a woman, but I don't, it's probably true for you guys too. I know for men, for me specifically, the emotional, spiritual ones are the hard ones, not because we don't know how to fill them. Like, I think we're pretty good at that. I know that I'm gonna go hang out with a buddy, I'm gonna go drink with a friend, like whatever that thing is, I can fill up. The problem is we don't often know how to recognize that we're low on those things, right? This is why men's ministries and stuff are so powerful at churches, and why a lot of guys don't go, because the men's ministry is really good at building that stuff up, but the guy doesn't know that they need it. Okay. But it could be physical. I mean, the hard one is physical. Oh, I can't get out of bed. I'm physically in pain. I hear that. That's so hard. I feel for you. There's something you can do, though. If you can't move your legs, well, move your arms. Whatever it is, there's some physical thing that you can do to build that energy. And you got to be doing it. You got to be doing it. You have to be doing it. If you cannot live without having physical health, right? And I'm not saying you got to be a freaking athlete, but you got to have some way of generating that energy, or it's just not gonna go well for you, right? It's not gonna end well. It's gonna end very soon, probably. Jeff says the struggle for him is the physical gas tank. Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's a lot of times acknowledging or recognizing it. That, hey, man, I'm just not physically like where I need to be. That happened to me last year. I was heavier than I'd ever been, and I was never out of shape. I was never like dying. I was never really, 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 really bad. Or so I thought, right? And then I got the blood work, went to the doctor, and he's like looking at me like I'm, ugh. And I was like, all right, man, point taken, But I just kind of knew. I was like, this is not where I want to be. And I just finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna fix this. We're gonna figure this out, right? And I'm just gonna start with walking. I can't run. I hate running. I got a bum knee. Great. Do something you can do. That's what I told myself, right? Do something you can do. You can go walk. Now I've added hockey. I play hockey, which going from like I can't run to like playing hockey, I think that's kind of a it tells you that I've gotten a little bit healthier physically, right? But I'm really bad at it. But the point is, it's like super super physical, and it's been great for me. Peter says, knowing when your emotional tank is empty really speaks to me. Good. I'm so glad that it does. I hope this has served you, because man, I'm talking to myself here, right? Like knowing my spiritual tank is running dry, my emotional tank is running dry. These are very, very hard things to know. And like I said, I think this is an issue. It's not exclusive to men, but it tends to be more men than women who can't recognize their emotional tank is running dry. I wish I had like a really easy way of saying, well, just do this and you'll know. But I think it goes back to the human design that, was it Jeff said that? Or Adam said that? You just got to know yourself. You got to figure out what your little signs are along the way, the little signposts on the way to being dry or being empty, and then try to figure out how to recognize them and change them as you go, I guess. Like I said, I wish there was an easy way, but I think that is the challenge, is trying to figure out how you're dry and in what way and how you can fill it back up. Sorry, I'm reading all these at the same time. Jeff says, read a major study that said when it comes to increasing productivity, one thing far surpassed all the others, and there was no close second. 30 minutes of cardio, 75 your max heart rate, 2 hours of increased productivity. Yeah, I mean, put it in a nutshell, right? You're just affecting your physical change, and that bleeds over so much into the emotional, physical, or emotional, spiritual, mental health. Being physical helps the mental state. We all know that, but this is the science behind it. Absolutely. David says, blast you, I'm wheelchair bound. I know, and that's what I'm saying. I recognize that, and I acknowledge that people are all different, and we can't all do the same thing. So I'm not saying everybody go play hockey, right? I hope that you hear that. I know, David, you do, but you have, yeah, like he says, I've got to do something physical. You ran, tennis, taught scuba, weightlifted, bicycle. That's awesome. Yeah, and we talked before, how I'm using your friendship. Man, I appreciate you, man. That's really cool. There's something you can do. I don't know what it is. I'm not an expert. Like, there are people, I recommend like having a physical therapist, even if you're not needing a physical therapist. So, like, for example, I mean, go find a physical therapist who's really, really good at taking somebody who just in whatever state you're in and saying, asking them, hey, I'm going to get as healthy as I can be. How do I do that? Because they're trained to, well, therapize physically. Where a doctor, you're going to go in and they'll be like, all right, what pill can I give you? And if you need pills, they're great for that. But like if you don't, they're not a holistic practitioner a lot of times. They're just very good at being a general physician that gives you pills. And so go find a physical therapist. Go find somebody who is trained to help you physically alter your body by doing healthy things, right? And you need an expert. You don't want to listen to me say, well, just do this bicep curl, because that may not be the right thing. But these people know that, and they want to help you. They love it. They love doing that. So I highly recommend that. This goes back to a whole different thing. It's not productivity, but I think we need, every single person needs, if they want to be healthy, like these different people in their lives. Like, you need somebody who you can talk to. Maybe that's a therapist, counselor, whatever, but you need somebody who's a professional third party that you're paying money to just talk through things and give you some perspective. We need somebody that you're paying who's a third party who can help us, just general health. So that's a doctor, right? General practitioner, family practitioner. We need somebody like a physical therapist. And then for someone like me who wants to actually like go the extra mile, like I want to get extra healthy, I want to get like really, 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 really fit, I'm going to go find somebody who trains the hockey players for the Avalanche. They're right up the road in Denver, I bet I can find somebody for probably $200. They'll just have a conversation with me. That's all I need. But I want to do that once a year. And I think we all need that type of stuff in our life. So go identify those people and figure out, well, who can we put around us that can help us with this? And our spouses are great. We love them, but like, they're not that. And they're not a third party. They're not detached enough, right? Anyway, I'm rambling, whatever. Joan says, I struggle with chronic fatigue and have found a gentle walk around the block every morning helps. Yeah, that's awesome. The past 3 years, you've lost 110 pounds. That is incredible. That's amazing. It's amazing. I can't imagine what it's done for your mental health. Yeah, obviously the physical health, that's for sure. You gained 20 years in your life, right? But your mental health, that's the part that we don't think about often. We go work out. It's like, yeah, we're getting stronger. We're getting better at stuff, but cardiovascular health is great. But the mental health, the gains that we get there, you can't measure them. You literally cannot measure them. How do you measure mental health, right? There's no objectivity. So we tend to forget about it. But it is so helpful to do that kind of stuff. Vice versa. Your mental health will affect your physical state. This is physiology 101. Like, what we have in our brain, what we believe equals what we do and feel and think. And, I truly believe, we can think our way to being overweight. We can think our way to eating unhealthy. We can think our way to having, all kinds of problems. I'm not saying that's the only way we get there, but thinking the mental stuff is so important. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta bounce too, but I really appreciate you all. I hope this has served you. The recording will be here, so if you missed it, if you're just coming in, sorry, you're an hour late, but you can watch it hopefully right away. I think Facebook will go through and process and all that stuff, but yeah, I probably missed some of your comments as well, your questions. If you want to just drop them back up, you can. I'm not going to answer them live now because I got to go, but I will jump in throughout the day. In the next few days, I'll be at this conference. Please, please, please reach out. I love talking to you. I love doing this kind of thing. It is kind of a one-way street though, right? And so if you got some feedback for me, good or bad, whatever it is, drop it in there. I want to see that kind of stuff. I want to help. I want to make sure that you are leveling up in all the different ways that means. And I believe it starts with productivity, but I believe productivity starts with energy management. So that's why this is here, because you want to level up, you got to get good at the energy management. So I hope this has helped. I hope this has served you. I will be around, and yes, I will eat a healthy lunch. I won't actually, David. Sorry, I'm going to chicken and pickle, which it's a whole thing, but it's a company thing. So yeah, but I will do my best. I'll eat the most healthy chickens and pickles that are there. I'll talk soon. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great day.